The Paschal Baseball Coaches Show is brought to you by the Lone Star Podcast Network. You can find the show on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, on any place podcasts are found. But if you want to hear more high school sports-related shows, head over to LoneStarPodcast.com. And if you would love to get a show for your high school sports team, when you're on LoneStarPodcast.com, look for the link that says Coaches Show. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Clint Dunham, head coach from the Paschal Panthers baseball team. Coach, how are you doing today?
It's a great Tuesday. It's 55 degrees and sunny, a lot of wind. Big storm came through last night, and it's going to green everything up for the first home varsity tournament of the year. So really excited for a fun week ahead.
Definitely. Well, before we talk about that, let's talk about the previous week. We were hoping to go 3-2 at least, but we went 2-3. So, but it wasn't against scrubs, right?
No, not at all. We've you look up and it's kind of hard. You're trying to look at the season as a whole, and all 4 losses have been against teams that are really, really good baseball teams and ones that have competed for or won state titles in the last 10 years, and just really good baseball programs. So. That's our losses. We've done a good job winning the ones we're supposed to win. Just looking for one of those ones to bounce our way against one of those teams that's one of those really quality opponents. We've played them close, but just offensively just aren't quite where we need to be to beat those teams right now.
And the only one that was really close was that Eaton game, 4-3. Talk about that one.
Yeah, Eaton's a team that we play like once a year, and if you go back and look since like 2018 when we started playing them, they've always been a really tough team. And if you go back and look, we've beat them a couple times. They've beat us by 1 run a few times. We've had a tie in there. So we match up really well with them. We took a 3-1 lead into a ball game late.
Wow.
And just had a couple of tight calls, ball strikes that I thought could have gone our way, and they didn't. But it's good to kind of see the kids put in that type of adversity early in the year and see how they respond, and give us a lot of coaching points off of the loss. So not all bad from the loss.
Yeah, well, they did. They responded well. 2 straight shutout wins right after that. So it looks like they responded well.
They did. The pitching was really good this last weekend. Junior Alaniz did a great job in the night game, winning a 2-0 pitchers duel, and then Tex Shope threw our second no-hitter of the year. So that was a lot of fun. So the pitching really carried us that Friday. I mean, anytime you do not give up a run on a day, you will be undefeated that day. So that's a good way to look at it.
I love that. And during the stretch where the bats put across 16 runs. So talk about some of the bats. Who was performing well?
We got a really nice weekend out of Ronaldo Hernandez Comblalo. It was his first week back. He missed all last week with strep throat and just couldn't get a fever down. And so it was really nice to get him back in the lineup. He reached base via walk a few times. He had some really good at-bats versus quality arms. So that was nice to see. But offensively, as a whole, we didn't really swing it as well as I would have liked. So we had a really good practice, I think, yesterday, real heavy offensive day. And really just trying to hammer out, where we can get better as a team. And what we've noticed is when we're facing good arms, where our walk-to-strikeout ratio just really isn't where it needs to be. So too many strikeouts, not enough walks. So just getting a little deeper into at-bats and not giving away at-bats early on. So really excited to see kind of that progress that we've made off of this week's practice and see if it carries over into this next week.
Right. And you can't grade the team now based on their ultimate potential at the end of the season. But how do you grade them for being, where we're at right now in the season?
I'm really happy with them so far. They work hard at practice. They came with a really high level of intensity to play the games for 7 of the 8 games. In the last one being this last Saturday, we came out and it was hard. We played Friday evening, played a late game, a real good ball game, won a 2-0 game. I got a big 2-out hit by Hudson Sharp, and Junior Alaniz, like I said, threw well, and that was awesome. But then we had to come back and play at 10 a.m. that next morning versus a top 5 private school in the state, and we just did not bounce back as well as I would have liked. So the dugout was a little dead, and that energy just wasn't quite as good as it's been the first 7 games and all through scrimmages. So, but as a whole, like I said, when you step back and look at it, I had all day Sunday to kind of look at it and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
They've given really quality effort, intensity level for about 2 months now. So I've been really pleased with that. It was just an off day, and hopefully we come back Thursday ready to play, and they do exactly what I expect they will do, and that's come back ready and ready to compete.
I love that. And this, I guess, question is to your style as a coach, because there's some good things going on. There's some things that weren't where you thought they should be yet. How do you respond there? Is it like, look, guys, we've got to focus, and you push them hard, or do you tell them ease up? You're successful at some things, but you got to tweak some other things.
I think it's that you try as a coach to find that perfect mix of both, where you're complimenting the good, you're picking out the bad, and you got to understand as a coach too that the physical errors that happen are something that are going to happen, and no kid wants to make that physical error. So it's not something that you're going to sit there and really yell and scream about a physical error, but it's the mental ones that become frustrating, where a guy's just not in the right spot or something like that, and that's the ones that we feel like we can control better. So I think as a staff, I think our job is we kind of call it like going to the doctor. We tell the kids, hey, we watch a game, and it's like going to the doctor's office. You go there and you say, hey, I'm not feeling real well at this, or we're not performing at this, and they write you that prescription, and that's what we do at practice. Hopefully we work on those things that need to get better, so we're ready for that next week.
Nice. Well, between now and when we talk next week, you've got 6 games coming up, a really important tournament and a district opener. So let's talk about that tournament first. It's pretty exciting.
It is. It's a tournament that means a lot to me. It means a lot to the rest of the team, to the kids, to the city of Fort Worth. So the Drew Medford tournament that we host, it's a super unique tournament to high school baseball. It's named after Drew Medford. He passed away in 2016, tragically, of a car accident. And Drew was our district MVP. He was our best player, and he was set to go to TCU and play there. And this tournament started with 2 sites, 8 different teams, and it gives out $1,000 scholarship to 1 kid on every team. So this year we got 29 teams, 8 different sites, so we'll give out $29,000 in scholarships. There's 60-plus games of baseball going around DFW, and big team dinner tomorrow night, and then the scholarship ceremony is Saturday night, and then that concludes with Paschal versus Arlington Heights, which is a 100-plus year rivalry, and we play it every year, and that's super exciting. So that's kind of the finale of the tournament, but before that we got 2 awesome days of baseball too, where we got 2 games Thursday and 2 games Friday. So lots of fun stuff ahead, just really good weather. It's fun to get to see faces come back every year, that kids who played with Drew and families that have been around Paschal Baseball in Fort Worth, that all make it back to this tournament. So it's a lot of fun for us. It's a lot of work for the staff and for the kids, and a lot of stuff goes into it. And the Medford Foundation does an outstanding job of handling all of it as well. But it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding at the same time to see it all come together each year.
I love that. And of those awards, how do they determine which kid on each team gets that award? Does the team determine it, or what's the procedure there?
Yeah, so every team has kind of their own unique parameters that they'll put on it. I've heard there's some teams that have done it just straight on a kid's GPA, and there's other ones that have done it, based on a team vote or a coach's vote. Ours, typically, we kind of talk as a staff, and we look at, who's a kid who's put in 4 years of work, not just in the school, in the classroom, in the baseball field, but just a really good member of the team, a quality teammate, and they put in extra work. They love baseball. Ideally, we're hoping it's a kid that maybe is going on to play baseball like Drew was in college, but not always a necessity. But just we look for a kid who had a lot of characteristics like Drew, competitive, loved baseball, good person, and we try to acknowledge those kids and know that there's probably a lot more in each program, but we're going to find hopefully one of those, our best ones, and acknowledge that kid this weekend.
I love that. Well, I just love the fact that there's such a good meaning behind this tournament. Yes, we love to get together and play baseball, but we're doing good too.
It is. It's super cool. It's the one time you'll see a picture every year of Arlington Heights kids and Paschal kids standing there taking a picture together. So once a year we get it, and the kids do a real good job. This year's a little different. They're in our district, so we get to play them 2 times. So it kind of turns once a year into a best out of 3, which will be fun too.
I love that. And speaking of district, we do start district against South Hills. What do you expect out of them?
South Hills is a scrappy group. I haven't seen them. I've seen 5 of our 7 teams in our district. They're one of the 2 I have not. I plan to go see them Thursday and Friday this week to get a full look right before district starts and kind of find out what they have. But in years past, they've been a team who just kind of like us. They're real scrappy. They top to bottom of the order, they're going to be a tough out, and they're going to play good defense and throw strikes, and they're going to give us their best game, and it's the first game of district. So I know everybody wants to start 1-0.
Yeah, and I love the way your district does it, that you play the team at one location, then you turn right around and play the team at the other location. So you still got that team fresh in your mind. So do you prefer in that scenario to have the first game or the second game at home?
I've never much thought about it. I think certain years, we had one year in the past where I had a kid who was a senior who was the Friday guy, and a sophomore was the Tuesday guy. And with the way the schedules came and rainouts and all sorts of stuff, the sophomore had Tuesdays at home and the senior had Fridays on the road. And it's really unique. It doesn't usually fall like that. And it worked out great for us. The senior had been around more. He wasn't rattled, and the sophomore got to throw somewhere where it was comfortable to them. So yeah. I'm not sure that it matters one way or the other if you're getting it every other week, but I know that was about the only time that it really was noticeable for us to have a preferable situation like that. But as a whole, you just want to get off on the right foot and get that first win and send a message to the other team that hopefully that, we're a team that they don't want to play on that Friday. So send the message on Tuesday that, Friday's not going to be any fun either.
I love that. Cool. I also noticed during the rest of the season, you've got some games interspersed there that are not district games. How does that all work in?
So usually you get 14 district games normally. We're in a smaller district, so we get 12. So we actually, that would normally put you 3 Saturday games allowed. Now we're allowed 5. So we put one on a Tuesday instead versus Fossil Ridge. That gave us 4. And then you just kind of try to sprinkle in Saturdays along the way, kind of leading up to the playoffs. And that's great for us. It gives us a chance to schedule some quality teams. It also gives us that idea of playing on a Friday and then coming back on a Saturday, kind of like the playoffs will look. So getting that feel for that and getting those extra pitchers innings. And usually it's just a lot of coaches start getting together who know each other well and say, hey, I need a game on a Saturday. I say, yeah, let's make it work. Here's my open weekend. So typically you're just sending text messages early in August or September and trying to map out those Saturdays with other coaches.
Right on. And you talked earlier about the player coming back. How is the team health-wise?
I think we're almost all back now. We're doing well. We have Charles Witherington's almost all the way back. Not sure how much he'll throw for us, but he should be back full-time in the outfield now. Luke Jowers came back last weekend, and Ronaldo's back. So real good health-wise there. And I think the only injury on the injury report is our JV manager wrecked his dirt bike last week. So
no.
I saw him hobbling around campus, and Adrian Bombella does an awesome job. And but yeah, he's got a hobbled knee from a dirt bike injury. So I think that's about it right now.
Excellent, Coach. Well, again, best of luck this week. Hopefully, we take the tournament. That would be wonderful. But if not, either way, hopefully we did have some great baseball.
I'm very excited for it. It should be an awesome weekend of baseball. And I just look forward to seeing all the people that come out for it and see how packed we can get a Heights game at that height. So hopefully we fill the place with purple.
I love it. All right. Well, we'll be talking soon, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, I want to thank you for listening to the Paschal Baseball Coaches Show and remind you to get out there and support your Panthers. Get to their games, let them know that you are rooting for them. Share this show and let everybody know about Paschal Panthers baseball. Hey, do you dream about a career in sports media, hanging out with legends of sports? I'm Chris Doelle, and I went from being an absolute nobody to speaking at the top sports conventions, to hosting some of the top sports podcasts, and publishing 5 books and more. And I want to share with you my secrets, step by step, how to make it happen for you. Super Bowl champs, NBA stars, Hall of Famers in every sport, Olympians, you name it. They are in my cell phone and they take my phone calls. The best part, the 5 secrets to sports media success is absolutely free, but it's not for everyone. I'm not going to waste my time giving it away to wannabes and quitters. I do not have time for that. Only the serious will get this. I will teach you how to earn the respect of the sports media big shots. I will teach you how to score connections you never felt possible, but will change everything in your sports media career. And I'll teach it just like I did it, building it from scratch. How to build it from absolutely 0 people paying attention to you to millions and more. Stuff that got me on major media platforms. So, do you want in? I'm not going to give you an URL that you're going to fill out and forget about. No, I'm not going to make it that easy. It is simple. It's not easy. You simply find me on social media, anywhere, any platform. I am everywhere. Chris Doelle. It's a funny name, so I'm easy to find. And you send me a message that says something along the lines of, give me the 5 secrets. Or sports media success, something that jogs my mind to go, oh, this person is serious. They took the time. Prove that you're serious and I will send it to you. Sports media is frankly all about amazing stories, right? So take that step to start writing your own.